I'd like to talk about the news that came out today because we got an announcement from Bungie about the September expansion, and Google Stadia also had a press conference and announced that Destiny 2 is they're forming a partnership with Destiny 2 so that it's going to be free to play on Stadia, including the newest ShadowKeep expansion.
If you buy the Founders Pack.
You get it. Well, no, if you sign up for their Pro plan, which is $10 a month.
Oh, or that. Oh, I missed that. So if you get the $9.99, it's also free? I thought it was only part of the Founders Pack. But I might have missed it.
I'll double check while we're talking about it. Cool. But I thought it was.
Yep. Folks in chat are saying free with Stadia Pro. I don't want to put you. I'm like super behind the news today. I
didn't really look into the
huge
Stadia
part of
stuff.
Stadia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you sign up for Stadia Pro, which is $9.99 a month, you get 4K 60 FPS HDR gaming with 5.1 surround sound and Destiny 2, including the newest expansion ShadowKeep, which was announced today, is included with that with the monthly fee.
Wow.
For $9.99 a month for the Stadia Pro, which is pretty nice.
Insane.
I mean, you know, I was surprised to see this because, you know, obviously Destiny 2 is coming out of their PlayStation partnership, right? So to see them get into another partnership right off the bat with Google was a little bit surprising to me, but it doesn't sound like there's going to be any exclusives with it. It's not going to be like the PlayStation contract where they had, you know, exclusive weapons, exclusive maps, exclusive strikes. It's just going to be that it's free to play if you have the Pro membership on Stadia.
And we should just highlight that real quick, that Luke Smith said that the days of exclusive strikes, exclusive exotics, exclusive armor, those are gone.
Done.
Yeah. No longer.
He did say that.
Yeah, he straight up said that this Bungie moving forward was not going to have any of that crap in the game anymore, which is huge, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's really cool.
There's a whole nother strike that's on PS4 that we can't play on PC or Xbox right now.
And I have a wave splitter in my vault that says cannot use.
Exactly.
Because I picked it up from Zuri.
Like, it makes the community gets so salty over those things, and I'm just really happy that Bungie recognizes that. So I don't think this partnership is really something that's going to be like this weird, well, you get this, but we're going to have to take this type of thing. I think it's just them saying, yeah, we'll have our software on your service with this type of agreement if you promote it in certain ways with the Stadia.
And that was my big question then, is if, let's say you just pay, I guess you have to wait till November though, but if you wait until, because it's not ready till November, is that right?
Is that when Stadia comes out? I don't know.
Correct. Yeah, that's when Stadia comes out. The pre-order version. The pre-order says that it'll ship in September.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, in November.
Yeah.
So if you wait until then and just pay the $9.99, can't you then, we're going to get to this news, the cross-save news, but like, wouldn't it just mean you can just do that, but also play
no, because you still got to own a copy on PlayStation, Xbox.
Oh, you still have to buy all the individual versions. That's right.
Yeah, just because you have it on Xbox doesn't mean you have it on Steam and PS4 and all that.
Unless you're playing New Light, which we'll get to again. But that's going to be the free-to-play version of Destiny 2.
Good point. Yeah,
then it'll probably work.
Yes.
Interesting.
But you can do that anyway. That's going to be free anyway on all the platforms.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's talk about the ShadowKeep announcement. Bungie released, or they did a big announcement on Twitch, YouTube, like everything. They had a vid doc in there. They had Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy talking. They had Dado on there doing interviews of the developers of Destiny 2, talking about ShadowKeep, what, you know, the past and the future. I thought Dado did a really good job.
He crushed it, right?
Asking the questions that the community wanted to know, and then the
developers the answers he was digging for.
Of course,
I mean, and you would expect not to.
Trials, right?
I thought it, you know, Luke Smith especially, he was kind of like, we know you're going to ask these questions, and you know that I'm not going to be able to answer it. You know, like, that's how it goes, I guess, with that stuff. But I appreciated what Dado asked and kind of what he was trying to get to get out of Bungie there.
Also, that was the first time we've seen Luke Smith since D2, right?
That is, since the release, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, he was in the Vidoc, right, about the last season, which is what I've always been referring to.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He kept, it was funny, since then I've been excited about this because he was like, we want to be a live reactive online game, like wink, whatever that meant. And now we know what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ShadowKeep announcement started with Mark Noseworthy and Luke Smith talking about their outline for what they want Destiny to become and they had kind of this 3-part vision. Number one was they want Destiny to become an action MMO, and this is the first time we've really heard Bungie use the word MMO in public, and it's always been kind of famously omitted from their language, right? It's like everybody knows that Destiny is partially an MMO, but Bungie never wanted to say MMO, right? Because it came with too much baggage.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time they've embraced the MMO,
wholeheartedly.
word, and theoretically some of the stuff that comes along with that.
Yeah.
They want to add more stats to the game. They want to RPGify the game more, improve social on the long horizon. They said they're really stressing improving social is on the roadmap, but it's not going to be immediate. It's going to be in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But adding stats to the game, RPGing it, like that's stuff that I think that Bungie fans have really been hoping for, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah.
They also.
Sure. I was just going to say, one of the things that stood out to me when they started talking about gear customization and the mods and stuff, and sorry if I'm jumping the gun here, but
no, you're good.
This got me excited because I'm one of those people, I care more about the way that my character looks, and I will sacrifice, certain stats because I just can't be playing with a character that's looking all goofy and stuff. And I think the fact that they're recognizing that, and it looks like they're bringing a lot of customization to the way that we're going to be able to make our characters look, but also still be able to customize and apply different sorts of mods and stats and perks and stuff like that on our gear, I think is really cool. And I'm just curious how in depth they're going to go with the whole perk system on armor.
Yeah.
They kind of mentioned this armor perks or armor 2.0 system that they're bringing, and it looks like transmog, right? It looks like it's going to be essentially transmog. You'll be able to take the armor that you like the looks of and put the perks that you like the functionality of on that armor. So it looks like that looks like transmog to me, right?
Yeah, I saw 2 points. Like there was a total point usage, and again, some of this is temporary because it's not finished. There was that like amount of usage, and then there was out of the total mods or something that you could potentially use. It was showing both numbers, like 16 of 20 total potential, and then cost, I think.
So like a pick 10 type of thing?
Yeah, it was. Did you guys spot this? It said like 3 for the cost, and then it said total something 16 of 25 or something like that. But it looks, you're right. I think one, it's transmog, but 2, there's going to be some system. Oh, and it looked like it would reset or something with the next season. And again, this might be temporary, but I thought I spotted that.
Wait, is this the artifact thing? You talk about the artifact thing that they showed on there? Like the Eye of the Gate Lord artifact?
The Eye of the Gate Lord?
Yeah.
No, I think that's separate.
Was that separate?
Maybe I was, though.
Because they showed the Eye of the Gate Lord artifact that was supposedly next season, and again, in development, it might change, yada, yada, yada. But like, maybe you might be gaining certain tools each season that give you access to these RPG elements.
Well, the Eye of the Gate Lord thing looked like it lets you unlock by playing and completing challenges. It lets you unlock armor perks, right? And then you'll be able to apply those armor perks to your armor. And some of them, they use the word exotic on the perks, like they're going to be like
he said at the end, like there's going to be exotic level perks that you're going to be really excited about.
That's what I was going to say. To Glad's point, it looked like 1, transmog looks true, so you can look how you want Glad, and then 2. It sounded like they said if you do everything right, you'll reach exotic level armor or something. Does that sound right to everyone?
I don't know if it's specifically exotic level armor, but it's going down that path of RPG where you can really flesh out a build, because Destiny is like build light right now, where you have some builds, but majority of the time some of these stats just don't really matter. It sounds like
I didn't mean it would turn into an exotic. I just meant they said what you were referring to, that it would feel like an exotic if you.
They're saying exotic like perks, but you always have to take that with a grain of sand, because there's a few exotics that are trash in the game.
Definitely.
Some exotic like trash perks, or
So I don't know how much I'm supposed to say here, because I did go to the summit, but one of the things that I did say, you talked about some of the perks on the armor sort of being, insignificant, and you really can. You could take a random armor loadout from Dim and just apply any pieces of gear, and pretty much do anything in the game.
Yeah,
I mean, you could run a raid, you could run Crucible. Yeah, you might not get some extra shotgun bullets when you pick up special ammo, But one of the things that I told them was your armor just isn't, besides some exotics, it's just not really exciting. There's not a lot going on. You look at a couple things that might help you a little bit, but for the most part, when I get pieces of armor, I pretty much just dismantle it, take the cores or whatever. And I think I'm really hoping that this makes every single piece of armor that you get dropped in the world something that you actually can take a look at and more closely. And when they came out with the mod system for the Leviathan gear for this DLC, how you can apply different Leviathan mods to all the gear in multiple mod slots, that excited me because that's the step in the right direction, in my opinion, for making gear more meaningful. Because as far as I'm concerned, especially things like chest pieces, they're just useless. I mean, you may as well just run whatever you think looks the best at that point. I think that's a whole waste in slot.
That's been some of my biggest issues with Destiny in their overall sandbox, is that like a lot of the times that armor is just, it's whatever. It's just, you can't, like, if every piece of legendary armor dropped and you were genuinely excited to see the potential role in there, because it could actually be a game-changing piece of gear for you, then that really opens things up for a chase. But right now, it's like you get another prodigal whatever. It's like, okay,
right?
Dismantle.
Yeah,
dismantle.
Yeah.
And it also opens up the farming opportunity, right? It's like it gives you length of play due to, well, I got this piece that I like, but I really want this perk on this piece that, I like cosmetically, but I really want to get this perk that gives me this benefit for when I'm in PvP. And then on this other set, I really want this benefit that gives me a huge buff for, raiding or, doing
enhanced
different things.
Grenade launcher reload speed.
But yeah, I mean, it lengthens when there's cool things to chase that have real effects, then it gives you a reason to keep chasing them. When all the armor kind of
blends,
when the armor all looks the same, and it doesn't really have any functional difference to it, and
it becomes boring. And like I said, there's no real build type of thing. There's a few where you add a piece of exotic here and there with the type of subclass, like that's a mini build, but there's no true RPG builds in Destiny right now to where you have to have all 5 pieces of armor lined up to make this build happen.
I would say the closest thing would be Gambit sets. And
that's true.
But the issue with that is it's exclusive to one particular activity. So it's really a shame that you can't use it outside of Gambit. And
I'd be okay with that though if they made sets that were just for specific activities. I'd be okay with it, because something that really feels awesome in Gambit and allows you to do all sorts of cool stuff would be awful for PvP, right? It'd be game breaking for PvP. But having it in Gambit enhances the Gambit experience. I'd be okay with that, having 3 different builds: PvE, Gambit, and PvP.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Did you?
Yeah, I like that.
Did you guys like intellect, strength, and discipline in D1?
Yeah.
Yeah, going for tier 10 or tier 12 builds?
Absolutely, yeah. Because it was a build. I mean, you were literally running a tier 12 build. And I thought that was really cool. I mean, in general, I sort of miss the ability to mess with your recovery and your... What was it? Was it even called resilience in Destiny 1? I don't even remember.
No, I think resilience was new, right?
What was it called?
Because they swapped discipline, intellect, and strength
in there
to mobility, recovery, and resilience.
Yeah, but you could in your subclass, you could give your character more mobility in your subclass. And I liked being able to choose keep your same gear, but still mess with your... Was it armor?
Yeah.
I guess, but I don't know.
That's another thing they mentioned later was they want to add more complexity to subclasses too, right? Is they want your character to have more options and to really flesh out what you're customizing on your character. And I thought that was really exciting too, because it actually got simplified for Destiny 2 compared to Destiny 1, where you could really, not really, but you could customize your abilities in Destiny 1. In Destiny 2, you're really just choosing a package of perks.
Yeah.
And that's why they talk about when they mentioned MMO a bunch of times, my brain immediately went to skill trees and stuff.
Yep.
So I started thinking of the possibilities of, how are they actually are they going to implement some sort of skill trees with subclasses where we can go through and we can pick our way through, subclasses instead of just choosing this or this.
Yeah. Well, a pick 10 system would be perfect for that, right? It's like, it keeps people from getting overpowered by just filling out the entire skill tree. If you have to pick, like Call of Duty style, 10 abilities that you roll out.
Yeah, that's really fascinating. I like that idea. If it's that type of system, so you could really, because again, you want to feel like it's your build, and that's the thing. Right now in Destiny, it's like if you do one of the mini Destiny builds, you see a bunch of people with that exact build. So you don't really feel like it's yours,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll probably come back to character customization because my notes literally went by their order of operation.
Oh yeah, that's what I said. Sorry if I'm jumping the gun.
No, that's good.
I was gonna say real fat. Somebody sent a screen of, I think they saw on the Vidoc those stats back.
Yeah, intellect, strength, and discipline is coming back. There was a thing again though. Anything that they show in the Vidoc isn't necessarily set in stone. They might be. Like they showed game type elimination screen to get people like, oh, is that trials? Is that
they had items called lorem ipsum,
and like
the Latin to fill in.
Exotic hand cannon was the thing or whatever what it was. So the stuff could change, but go for it.
In the pre-show, they also mentioned that they really want Destiny 2 to become a single evolving world where, it really feels like the story is progressing, the world is progressing, as opposed to, just, kind of segmented by DLC. This really made me, as soon as I started talking about this, it really made me think, are they going to do a Destiny 3 proper, or are they going to just continue to build upon Destiny 2?
That was my biggest takeaway too. I was like, man, Destiny 3 with the way that they're talking right now sounds very distant.
Yeah, it sounds like it could be a couple of years. They kept saying we have more to do with Destiny 2. It's the way they kept putting it.
It almost makes you wonder if they ever have plans to do it.
Yeah.
Or if they just have plans to just continue evolving the same world. Because I was in a voice chat with Chevy and I immediately I was like, dude, a lot of the things that they're saying are making me like, what's the deal with Destiny 3? Because it seems like they just want to continue to stick with the same world and just keep evolving it. So
yeah, my bet's on September 2021. Next gen, it lines up, gives them time a little either after launch or whatever. But it's 2 years of this now, probably.
Interesting. I guess. So after seeing this Vidoc and hearing them talk about how they're going to segment expansions and, there's a free-to-play component, you can purchase a season, all that stuff. Sorry for jumping ahead on that. When they're talking about those type of things, it really makes me think they want to expand D2 for a long time. And then when they're ready to completely wipe everything and rebuild the whole sandbox in a new way, that's when they'd hit the reset button for D3 and wipe all our stuff and do a new Destiny. And, I mean, maybe that's the perfect solution for them to be able to have like a team that's doing the real underlining work for how D3 could be set up that can work for like 5 years while we get to enjoy these type of expansions and seasons in Destiny 2.
I'm 100% okay with that. Take all the time you want for Destiny 3. If they continue to improve Destiny 2, that's great. But Destiny 3 then has to be as good or better than Destiny 2. It can't be a regression.
Time out on this, though. We have 30 frames a second on consoles.
Yeah.
How long can this go on? Because are you assuming that it's just going to upgrade on the next console, maybe? I guess so.
I am assuming that, Fran.
Okay.
Well,
but that's an engine.
So that's a huge question. I was bringing that up in a video I did talking about how like PvP, can PvP continue being peer-to-peer in 2019 for another 2-3 years unless they do some sort of architecture overhaul mid life cycle of the game? Like maybe in 2020 they legit do a D2 architecture redo and that actually gives 60 FPS on consoles because they got some sort of magic that they worked underneath the hood.
Well, one of the interesting things about the Stadia is that's going to deliver 4K 60 FPS on your TV.
Yes.
But that's PC.
Well, no,
that's Stadia.
He's right. It's a build just like an Xbox or PS4, but it's the Stadia server.
You're using a controller on your TV.
Okay.
Yeah, like in other words, we don't know if it's a PC build that they're putting there. I doubt it is. It's probably, you're right, Stadia.
I mean, it's got to be a different build, right? Because it's running on a different structure. I mean, I bet it's similar to the PC build, but
I'm assuming it's basically the PC build.
I'm assuming it's basically the PC build, but
what does that mean?
I mean, it's got to be somewhat different.
But what does that mean to you, Tef? Do you think it's going to look like it's running on a 2080, or do you think it means like an older? What does
I'm
that
assuming
mean
it's going to look like it's on a 2080. Yeah, for sure. There's
Really?
no reason for
If
them.
it's running 4K 60, it's got to be running on some pretty powerful hardware,
But
right?
there's no reason for
PS4
them
Pro
to
can
set
do
up a. Oh, I mean, they can bulk buy all that hardware and have these farms to be able to pump out those visuals. Yeah, I don't think that's really an issue on that.
Stadia offers some of the advantages of having a dedicated server. I mean, you're not going to be able to. Theoretically, I would imagine you're not going to be able to DDoS somebody if they're playing on Stadia, right? Because you'd be DDoSing the server farm.
You DDoS the server.
That's their IP address.
Yeah.
True, but that's not going to fix PvP issues where if somebody's in like London playing somebody in Mexico, like.
I think it would, because their internet connection is going to provide a bad experience for them, but their character instance is connected, via a high-speed connection on a server farm to your server, right? Like, I would imagine that.
Yeah. Glad. What do you
that
think?
PvP would be improved by this, assuming the latency to the server is good for you.
Yeah. How do you feel about Stadia, Glad?
I'll be honest, I don't really know too much about it or, pay too much attention to that sort of stuff, I just play video games, man. I'm not super. What's that?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do you play exclusively on PC or do you go multi-platform?
No, I'm just PC. I went from console to PC.
So with cross save, would you have would you consider days where you play on console since you can use your same characters?
I would not, because I can't. I am just keyboard and mouse. If I'm completely honest, it's I've become so adapted to it that I just don't really enjoy controllers anymore.
So this leads right into their third tenet, right? This is the third thing they really wanted to stress, is that they want Destiny 2 to be able to be played anywhere. Cross save is coming to all platforms. The rumor was it wasn't coming to PlayStation. Another rumor that came today is that PlayStation deal was like made yesterday to allow cross save. So cross save is coming to all platforms. So if you play on PC, you can play with your same character on an Xbox, Stadia, or a PlayStation 4. That's huge. It's not as good as cross play. I really want to still see cross play come.
So first step.
But cross save is a huge step.
It's
man.
the gateway drug.
Amazing.
It's the marijuana of crossplay.
Man, you gotta buy ShadowKeep on 4 or 5 platforms.
Well, any platform you're gonna play on, or use the free to play.
Yeah. But it's so different than crossplay. Is all I'm saying. It's like that's just maybe a couple consoles, but it's for the hardcore.
I think
I'll
this is
definitely
huge.
be buying it on a couple for sure. Go ahead, Glad. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. One of the questions that I get all the time is, I'm thinking about moving over to PC, but I don't know if I want to regrind all my characters. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, just so much. I almost just want to put text on my screen. And I always tell people, regrinding Destiny on PC the game is so wonderful. I mean, it plays just gorgeously on PCs, like so much better than any other PC game, in my opinion, that it's not even going to feel like a chore. Just grind it. And people always come over and then they end up saying, thank you so much. It really wasn't a chore. It kind of sucked not having a lot of my gear. But I like the fact that now that question is kind of going to be squashed.
Yeah.
Shout out to Vicarious Visions and David Shaw at Bungie, I think, on the PC side, right?
Yeah, making that.
For sure.
It is a really well optimized version of Destiny.
The community of Destiny got split when the PC version came out of Destiny 2, right? It's like,
definitely.
I had a ton of PlayStation 4 friends that I used to play with all the time. I played the PC version, and I was like, wow, this is going to be the version I play from now on, because it's really, really good. But unfortunately, I left some of those friends behind on the PlayStation 4, and it's not that I don't value that friendship or I don't want to play with them. It's just that, well, now for me to go back and grind characters up to current activity level is just too much for me, right? I can't fit that in my life. I can't fit having multiple platforms of grinding characters. But now I could just log into my PlayStation and have all the stuff that I have grinded over the last 2 years on my PC and play with PlayStation friends.
Yeah.
It's super exciting. I mean, cross save is super exciting.
It's great.
About it.
It's a great first step. Yeah. I mean, there's tons of people who just straight up don't have the time that have PS4 characters that would love to be able to jump on a PC without, having to regrind Ace of Spades and all the stuff that they got. I mean, titles. I mean, think about if you grinded out a bunch of those titles, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
You know what? Glad, because you brought this up, and it does need to be addressed. Wait, you said you have Wave Splitter on your PS4?
No,
right?
On PC.
Oh, you bought it with the Xur glitch or whatever.
Yeah, Xur's selling it, so I immediately picked it up, but it says like there's a red thing that says
Oh. Well, my question was, I guess it's just clarity. Obviously, if you play on a couple platforms, I believe you're going to have to choose one, right? And that's what it becomes.
Yeah,
that was Watts' question today on Twitter. On Twitter, Watts is just like, how am I going to decide? Because she plays on PlayStation 4 and PC.
Yeah.
She's done all her rating on PC, but she's done a lot of the other stuff like Triumphs on the PS4. So she's got a decision to make.
That's a tough one right there.
Like, which do I choose? And man, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, I do not envy that at all because she's got to make like basically a spreadsheet of like the pros and the cons of each platform and which one she's going to keep.
Once we know more about ShadowKeep, it becomes more of a, how much do you really need to worry about? But yeah, it's going to be a chore for multi-platform players.
I mean, I would feel very conflicted about that personally because like that's technically your day one,
Yeah, right. It's like it's got the legacy of your Destiny 1 characters too, and there was some Destiny 1 like emblems, weren't there? Like if you played Destiny 1, then there's some Destiny 2 emblems associated with that account.
Mm-hmm.
Did they come to the PC? Actually, I'm not sure because I did link that somehow. Don't think so?
Yeah. You had a chance, I thought, to link and transfer that. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, was there? Oh.
I thought so.
Could be.
Maybe I'm. No, you know what? No, I'm thinking about when we transferred to PS4. You're right. It never. I gave up on that and I moved to PC. But I'm with Glad. I'm like, I didn't look back. Man, PC is just so amazing. I'm like, I don't even care. Like, I'm over it.
I feel like a lot of people are gonna get a taste of it and gonna be like, wow, this is nice.
60 frames.
I haven't been wanting to swap because of the grind, but suddenly I'm like, damn.
I will say.
So they also announced a new version of Destiny 2 called New Light. Now, if I get any of the details wrong on this, because they explain this over the course of about an hour and a half in like one sentence segments. So it seems like New Light is going to be a free-to-play version of Destiny 2, right? It's going to have all of the Year 1 content built in, and it's going to have all of the Year 2 destinations built in, but it won't have Year 2 raids and exotics and story built in.
They said all destinations will be available.
All destinations.
Yep. No matter what year, it's going to be available. You won't be able to play story missions, raids, exotic quests, that type of thing.
Right. And New Light is specifically geared at bringing new players to the game. It's a free-to-play version of the game. You will not have to purchase it. And it's going to instantly bring you up to 750 light when it comes out in September. So you'll just be able to join your friends who are already playing Destiny 2 at a current light level and start playing, current activities. So like the play for a new player is get New Light, and then if you like what you see in New Light, you can buy the new DLC in September, and you're instantly up to date. Like you have everything you need to play current content.
Also, there's going to be that starter. There's going to be the D1 beginning mission, the Eyes Up Guardian, that's going to happen.
Yes.
That's going to be redone
which
for
everyone
that.
thought D1 was getting remastered and freaking out.
That was amazing, seeing everybody be like, yo, is D1 coming back remastered because of that?
Yeah.
Which was a bit of a debate,
It is. I do feel like New Light sets the stage, though, for this. These compartmentalized, like, you know what? Vault is back and it's free to play for everyone. I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but I feel like it sets the stage. Do you guys feel like that's a potential now?
It's potential.
Yeah.
I can't say I'm really hoping for it, though. I'd rather see time spent developing new content than bringing back old content.
Well, and also how they're doing the moon. They're essentially doing like a re-envisioning of what would have happened after all these events took place on the moon.
Yeah.
So I don't really see them actually going back to older raids now with that in place. I see that potentially as like a 10 years later, Destiny 1 remastered type of thing.
God, I hope Crota comes back.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like he's
really
coming
do.
back.
Yeah,
I hope we get the fight
It
in.
really seems like he
Dude,
is.
the raid though, I don't think the raid's coming back. You know, like I would be surprised.
No, I don't think so. But I hope there's some sort of combat engagement.
That'd be cool.
With
Definitely.
him. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Was that your
So-
favorite raid, Glad? Oh, sorry.
It was one of those raids. It was so bad that it was good because you could.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought as far as just fun goes, you could just do so much stuff in that raid, and it was a lot of fun to mess
It
with.
was a fun raid. My remembrance of that raid is very much colored by how buggy it was when it first launched, and it was really frustrating in that aspect. But especially with the remastered one that they did later in year 3, like it was just a fun raid when everything was working properly. It was just a blast. It was only a half hour. You know, you're in and out of there, and it was just a blast.
And you could just solo the whole thing, and you could just casually just do it, And I don't know.
Well,
I
maybe
enjoy
you
that
could
stuff.
casually do it.
You'd be surprised. Don't be surprised.
So then they announced Destiny 2 ShadowKeep. It's going to be a standalone product, right? So
The expand
you're going to be able to
alone.
buy this. It's an expansion, but it's a standalone product. So does that mean you don't have to own Destiny 2 to buy ShadowKeep? Or I guess you could get New Light for free and just add ShadowKeep to
Yeah,
it.
they're
Really.
giving
That's what they're
all
doing.
those things to you.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
reshaping the way they sell this to where anybody can buy or anybody can get into Destiny 2 now, no matter what the platform. This is
Right.
brilliant, guys. Like seriously,
It is
this
brilliant.
is intensely brilliant because all the PvP strikes in Gambit populations are going to skyrocket with people jumping in as new players at 750, being like, "What's this all about? Oh my gosh, this is good."
Yeah.
And then if they like what they are experiencing, then they can be like, let's buy Shadowkeep. Let's get in on what everybody's doing right now. That's cool. Let's buy this new season.
So to that point, which raids are free? Just
All year
Leviathan
one?
Year
and
one.
Argos?
Year 1 raids.
Year ones. All
So Spire,
And Spire.
Leviathan, and
Okay.
Eater.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
But in
all of
theory-
the year 1 content is bundled as a free anybody can play anytime package for no money.
But to
That's
your
right.
point,
You can,
oh,
and
go
you
ahead,
can
go
still visit Dreaming City and Tangled Shore and all that stuff, but you're just not going to be able to do the high end game stuff
Yeah.
like the raids and stuff like that. But
The
it appears you'll
dungeons,
still be
yeah.
able to do stuff like Blind Well and possibly the story missions and stuff.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know.
Okay.
Can you do story missions?
No,
Like
so I'm pretty sure what they wanted it so you can visit the destinations, but you can't do the actual expansion content. So story
so
missions.
you couldn't do the power drops from Petra then.
No,
No, I don't think so.
but you don't need to. You're 750 already.
Yeah, true.
Well,
By then,
Well,
there
they
is
just
going
want
to be-
800.
that is a good question,
Yeah.
Guy, because that is technically stuff that maybe they would just blanket out those missions to where you have to own Forsaken in order to
You
do
mean-
this mission.
You mean like an Ascendant story, for example?
Yeah.
or-
Could you pick up Petra's the story mission bounty that gives you a power and run
Yeah.
through that story mission?
Yeah.
That's my
I
question.
don't know.
You know how like when you hover over something, it'll say players don't have this activity available or whatever. Maybe they'll do
Yeah.
the same thing. You don't own Forsaken, so buy Forsaken. You can do this type of thing.
Maybe they'll do another row though. Maybe they'll split it up a little.
Yeah.
Who knows? But
They are
but,
also offering a package that offers all the year 1 and year 2 content for $40. So you can
Yeah.
just buy. You can just get caught up on all the content for $40.
yeah, and that's what they ended. They sold something like that last year, right? Where eventually
Yeah,
we
they
got
do
the
that every
bundle.
year to kind of
Yeah, it was on sale. Just
Yeah.
buy the expansion plus
They
everything.
commented on that though. They said it got really confusing to know what you need to buy if you want to get into Destiny.
Yeah.
And I completely
Yeah.
agree because there's a lot of people right now who are like, this Destiny thing's looking pretty cool, but then they look at it and they're like, what do I have
It's like
to do?
$200 of an investment. Like,
Yeah, they're like, and how much time am I to be able to play some strikes with my buddy? Like what?
Right.
Yeah.
So that was something I didn't quite understand though. So if it's free to expand, which is what I've been calling it, if it's free to expand, and you buy, say, the next season, or you don't buy Shadowkeep, but then there's a season after. When I get
Yeah.
to that season after, and they say it's easy to understand, aren't I going to have to understand? Wait, this is Shadowkeep, but this is the
so
next one
Shadowkeep
still?
is season 9, right?
Right.
Theoretically,
So that-
season 10 would release in December if they follow like that same pattern. You can buy season 10 without having bought
Standalone.
season 9.
Yeah.
But aren't we going to get into this? Like, wait, you can't come with me because you have Shadowkeep. Like, eventually, you get on the third release after in May or April or whatever, right? And then Aren't we still getting into this territory where it's like, wait, you don't have this one and that one?
Yeah, if you do, like, it's like Menagerie.
So
it's like Menagerie. Like, if you didn't buy Season of Opulence and you wanted to jump into Menagerie with your friends, everybody would have to own Menagerie or the season this season.
Mm-hmm.
That type of thing.
If I'm not mistaken, they were saying season 8 in the.
I thought it was.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Next is season 8.
I hear you, Fran, but I think this is the best way that they could possibly do this, because this way the population gets really, like, stoked with people trying the game out, and then the percentage that is like, yeah, this is what I like, I'll buy this. It seems like a perfect model for them to fund it and keep it going.
Wonderful,
right? Yeah.
I think that what they got to get away from, though, with this model is that when a new season comes out, what I always find myself doing is replaying the old stuff to try and get powered up for the new content. And if that is still the best way of powering up to play the new content, that's going to be a problem if you buy season 9 but didn't buy season 8, right?
Yeah. So, where I was going is I think eventually they're leading towards subscription. So you're instead of this, because Stadia is going to do it. Why aren't they doing it? That by the time I get to season 9, I just have a $9.99 month subscription or whatever, and then
maybe they're going to do that.
Thinking,
maybe they're going to have.
I bet they will.
Yeah. Because I could see them being like ShadowKeep and then individual seasons, but then being like, here's the big Chungus package.
Right.
Big Chungus package.
But what do you guys think of a subscription model for, say, instead of, because by the way, on top of this, there's the season pass, I think. Because the way I thought I saw it, wait a second. I thought it said that you could get ShadowKeep and then there's going to be a season pass. Did I see that somewhere?
I thought they were getting rid of the season pass. Like, it's not going to be a yearly season pass. They said that they were asking people to buy the season pass up front, but they weren't explaining what was in it. So this year, you're just going to buy it season by season.
I think they just said that they wanted to reiterate, and they know that some people are like, not feeling this season. Oh, this season I'd like to get into. So they wanted to give that option, because what they said was they didn't like having pre-selling content that they didn't know specifically what was even called in the season pass. So they didn't like that. But I think there's still going to be some sort of like yearly
annual pass.
Yeah, a pass.
That's what I meant to say. Annual pass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
okay.
They had so much to talk about in today's announcement that I felt like a lot of the stuff got mentioned but not fleshed out. And I think we'll be looking, all summer as they flesh these things out, right? As they really talk about this stuff in more depth, we'll come to understand it more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
New Light, for me, it took me the entire hour and a half. The whole broadcast was like an hour and a half, and it took me the whole hour and a half to understand what New Light exactly was.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm reading a quote. Oh, but this is about Stadia. But it says this is the Stadia quote from John Justice, and this is PC Games N, who does pretty good reporting. It says the newest expansion, ShadowKeep, and the annual pass will be bundled with the Stadia Founders Edition. So I don't know if he means the previous annual pass.
No, he's talking about a new annual pass.
Yeah,
guaranteed.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
but again,
I think there's still one.
They didn't like Season of the Drifter was a big pass for a lot of people. So those people would be like, I'm just not going to buy Season of the Drifter. I'll come back in 3 months for the next season for content that they're interested in. Like that. That's what they want to help people get around, and not like pre-sell them on a season that they might just straight up not be interested in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Destiny. Oh, okay. They also announced no more exclusives for platforms. So don't go like strikes, maps in Crucible, exotic weapons, that stuff. There's no more exclusives per platform. That's all going to be gone, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that earlier. Destiny 2 for the PC is coming to Steam. So it's not going to be on the Blizzard launcher anymore. It's migrating over to Steam. Your account your character should be unchanged by this, right? It should be a pretty smooth migration from what they were saying. We'll see how that works out.
Does this mean I get more than 200 friends?
Dude, right?
Yes, I hope so.
Does this mean
as soon as I saw that,
as
soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, thank God. The friends list can be unlocked.
What is does Steam have a limit?
I think like 2,000.
Apparently there's like a leveling system. I once again, I know nothing about the whole situation.
You're right.
It's definitely more than 200.
So This is what Steam says, their official page. The amount of friends that can be added to your list is initially 250. Leveling your Steam profile increases the cap by 5 friends for every level earned. You can
How do you
also
level?
Buying Steam games?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, no.
You can also
Achievements, I bet.
Oh, here's an easy one though. So you can also link your Steam with your Facebook to get an immediate 50. So you link those up
Hard
to 300. Anyway,
right,
it's more.
Oh, yeah, Steam groups as well. That's
There's
a
going to
good
be
one.
there's going to be a Steam grind now. Like, I'm grinding my Steam
Dude,
account
you're
now. I'm trying to get
Steam level, yeah. Honestly, ever since
no.
they put in /join, like that's been a godsend. So I'm hoping that continues.
Which is broken.
I know it's broken since the opulence, yeah. But I hope that
Yeah.
continues with Steam, right? Like we need that because it's so nice.
Agreed.
Being like, hey, /join.
But once they announced that they were leaving Activision, like everybody like was wondering, well, is it going to be on the Blizzard launcher, or they like how are you going to play Destiny on PC? Well, it's coming to Steam. I liked how Luke Smith, made an epic partner joke. I thought
That was
pretty funny.
amazing. I was like, oh my god, are they really doing this?
I'm a little surprised. I have to wonder if Steam's giving them a deal, because why in their situation wouldn't you take more money and just go with Epic? I mean,
Yeah, I would not be
the
surprised
benefits
if
of
Steam is
Steam.
giving them a deal.
I bet they are.
Yeah.
So
They got to look at
it's a big announcement for Steam too.
They probably
in a
shared
way.
some
For sure.
data and like look how many players we have, and it's going to be free to play. I mean, come on, free to play on Steam. It's going to be it's going to be top 10 all the time on Steam.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And all content and progression will just move over to your Steam account. You don't have to worry about losing stuff on your PC.
Yeah. Also, hacking is going to be rampant because you can just get a new account so easily. So
That's a good point.
watch out.
Oh boy.
VPN up.
They then started up the vid doc where they kind of talked about the development of ShadowKeep. It was interesting throughout this vid doc. They kept talking about how Bungie is now an independent studio and how they control their own future. Like they just kept rehashing that. Like they never said like, we're free from Activision. We can do whatever we want. We don't have to follow their rules anymore. We can make the game how we want. They never said Activision, but they really like implied it heavily.
They did when they said, the capital R reasons. I was like,
Yeah.
wowzer.
Yeah.
They're not pulling punches. They were clearly frustrated. They pointed the cross save. They all but said, because quote capital R reasons, we couldn't do cross save, but we wanted to, which seems to be Activision, which is crazy.
Yeah. It makes me wonder how much Bungie, like you said, was frustrated or handcuffed to an extent, and a lot of stuff that we'll never probably actually hear about.
Oh, I bet we will.
Jason Schreier.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Schreier, 2 years from now, in his next book, is
His
talking
tell-all
about
book.
the development of Destiny 2 and the breakup with Activision, because that's a story I'd love to read.
Quick question. You two say Vidoc and Briar says Vidoc.
Oh, did I? I
Which
hate the
right?
term
What's the
Vidoc,
correct-
but Bungie officially calls it a Vidoc.
But is Vidoc a Bungie thing?
Yes.
It is.
Yeah, I think so.
It's
So
one
that's
word,
not-
intercapped.
Is it?
That's not used by anywhere else. It was created by Bungie.
Pretty sure, because this goes
Back
all
in
the
the
way
Halo
back.
days, right?
Yeah, when
Do you
I
think-
worked at IGN, they sent the first one, and people were writing Vidoc in our articles, and I was like, "Why are you guys writing it? It's a marketing term." And they were like, "Well, we had this huge argument." It goes all the way back then, but everybody seems to like the term now. So
You think
either
like
or.
Luke Smith is like the architect of the term?
I don't. He wasn't there then.
Oh, okay.
No,
I
he
don't
was
think
still
so.
at probably one up.
Yeah, you're right.
games
You're
or
right.
Kotaku
Yeah.
At the time.
He took the
What
torch.
do you say, Glad? Choose a side.
I when I first read it without hearing it, I said Vidoc.
Yeah, you can
I
say
mean-
it's a video doc, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why
I mean, it makes sense to say it like that, right?
it does. That's why Vidoc sounds weird to
Yeah.
me.
Maybe I'm wrong too, but I swear they've been. I've heard them say it. I'm confident.
It's like the same people that say caramel.
Pecan.
Is this part of that
Pecan.
misophonia thing?
No.
Be like, oh, the way you pronounce that. Oh my god.
Nah, we can't be friends. So speaking of Shadowkeep itself, the new expansion, they really stress there's going to be an undertone of psychological horror, villains being resurrected by the darkness. Eris unleashed all this, but needs our help to fix it. And there's really going to be an emphasis on more depth in character customization. It's really going to be much more RPG focused than previous Destiny 2.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Can I read the line from the update?
Do it.
It's just one sentence. New nightmares have emerged from the shadows of our forgotten moon. Called forth by haunting visions from her tormented past, Erisborn has returned and unleashed something that once slumbered beneath the lunar surface. A long dormant power even she cannot control.
Glad. What do you think?
It's cool.
What do you think the nightmares are going to be?
So, have you ever played The Last of Us with the clickers, the enemies? The enemies kind of reminded me of that. They looked like almost resurrected, sort of infected zombie type hive characters. Another thing that came to mind was Pirates of the Caribbean. Part of the ship, part of the crew. They just gave me this real creepy, like stuff was growing on them, and I don't know at first. And then you saw some of the armor, and you got the Siva vibe. You saw the triangular diamond shaped red and black that we've all used to from. So then I saw on the enemies it was red as well. So then I'm like, is this Siva? Is this like zombie hive? Like what's going on?
That's
so
exciting.
Well, the hive are there, and emphasis looks like it's gonna be hive, but they did emphasize that there is gonna be fallen here. Like it's not just hive that are on the moon right now, and the fallen were on the moon in Destiny. They were 1 as well, but once you got underground, it was much more hive focused.
Yeah, this whole red keep type of thing is like unleashing some sort of nightmare thing across the moon, and it's exciting. Like I wonder if it's gonna be like taken, like everything has been takenified, everything's been nightmareified or shadowified. Sure. I don't know if it's gonna be like that, or maybe it's gonna be more like how they did with Rise of Iron, where the fallen were Sivified type of thing.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there, some kind of nightmare infected whatever.
Yeah.
Glad was saying.
So Watch said the armor was feedback fences, so that would definitely make sense because they were shaped.
Feedback
They're
fences.
probably just red.
What if it's fallen guardians that have been resurrected as nightmares?
We've hoped for this before.
I don't know. If
Come on,
fight,
friend.
Like,
Don't do
ghosty.
Does that sound awesome though? Fallen
Zavala
guardians,
the ghost.
shooting a Gallahorn.
They only do the moonwalk and walk backward.
They're emoting.
Yes, they're
As a
teabagging.
ghost. It's all the thriller. I'm so happy that Erisborn is back number 1.
For sure.
Yes.
Such a cool character. We know Morla as well. She's so cool.
Oh, I like also.
She's so excited. She's on Twitter today, being all excited.
Yeah. I like that they confirmed 100% that Eris is a good. She's on the light side.
Yeah.
She's protecting Earth and the people and all that.
Sometimes you do bad things to do, for good results.
The end of Taken King, when she was taking that crystal, I was like, what is she up to?
Right?
That's,
She says in 2 things that struck me in this trailer reveal were, 1, she says sort of welcome to my hell. I forget what she said. She's like, welcome to my nightmare. I think she says that, talking about Dark Below and all this. But then, doesn't she say something like the hidden or closer, or it's the darkness is closer than you think?
Yeah.
Which is really interesting with the whole dark spaceship hidden vibe thing, which we don't know about.
Yeah, Space Doritos.
I think this could be part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going back to the moon, I definitely got a Rise of Iron kind of vibe from it. Like, we're going back to a place we've been before. It doesn't seem like it's going to be Mars in Destiny 2, where it's set on the same planet, but it's a totally different place. Or even, we go back to Earth in Destiny 2, but it's a completely different area. It seems like it's going to be the same area, right?
They showed places.
It appears just destructed, like messed up big craters, something happened.
Kind of like Rise of Iron did. They did the Cosmodrome.
Yeah, it was all snowy.
Snowy and Sivified.
That's what I was thinking it would be like. Like, you'd go back to that first spot, but then there'd be all this other stuff's rebuilt. And to be fair, it's not like we went all the way around the moon.
No. They did confirm. Wait, I don't know. Did they confirm another? I think they said it was twice the size of the original moon. Was that?
Really? They said that?
Was that in the Vidoc?
I didn't catch it.
I don't know.
I feel like I would.
Did you go to the special NDA event?
I did not. This might have been a leak.
Come on, Glad.
It's somewhere out there. So I think no. They said it on the Vidoc. I'm remembering this. All right.
Everybody in chat says they did.
Everybody's saying. So this is twice the size of the original moon. So the moon was pretty big. It wasn't massive, but it was pretty big. So imagine that being jumboed and I think that's going to be awesome. Also, the Red Keep looks really cool, like this kind of like gothic type of thing that's set on the moon with all the green and red. I'm liking the vibe.
The moon's always been about verticality. It's usually we're just going down into the like under the moon. But with that Red Keep being built up, like it looks like we're gonna be able to climb that in some capacity.
Yeah. Well, it's been cracked apart, and we are visiting some of the same places, but it's been changed from whatever's happened.
Yeah. I just love that it's all headed towards the darkness. Like the new, we'll talk about it later, but the new Crown of Sorrow update, and it's all very dark and creepy, and it looks like they're taking it even farther, which I love that vibe personally.
Me too.
Yeah.
And, they mentioned Crota by name, and they mentioned Oryx by name, and how, there's going to be kind of resurrected enemies that we thought we'd killed but have been brought back.
Monster of the Week type of thing.
I wonder if it'll actually be Crota himself or some sort of,
Nightmare.
Yeah, different
Nightmare
version.
Crota.
Nightmare Crota sounds more terrifying.
We already had Nightmare Crota when he'd get up off
we've
his
seen
knee.
Discount Crota before.
What did the names in the Vidoc? What did the name say? You saw Crota, comma. I didn't catch the end of it.
Some dank darkness.
There's something at the end of his
dranker.
name. I don't know what it said.
I didn't. Yeah, I've been so busy today too.
Somebody had to screen grabbed it.
Still.
Yeah,
someone in
Phantasm.
chat.
like
Phantasm. Crota Phantasm,
which is related
to
Crota. Yeah, related to nightmares and all that.
Moon's
Phantoms.
Ghost of Crota.
Yeah.
It's like a Scooby-Doo episode is what I'm getting.
Destiny 2, the Scooby-Doo.
We're going to pull off the mask and be like,
Zoinks! It's Crota.
Old man Nash, what are you doing in there?
That's interesting.
Yeah.
The Guardian van.
Well, it's really fascinating that Feedback Fences was on one of those dark figures.
Oh, yeah. Imagine they brought back a Destiny 1 exotic. Who would have thought?
I can't imagine that at all.
Wow. I don't have a problem with it. As long as there's new stuff. We've always talked about that, right? Like, it's fine as long as all the new stuff makes up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're getting new moves.
Yes,
We're getting these finishers, right?
Oh
so
my
the
gosh.
Warlock has like this palm move. The Titan has like this like big fist move where it looks back at his fist and then like punches the guy. And it looked like the Hunter has this like kind of spinning knife attack where they spin around and they finish somebody off with that. It looked really cool. And any type of new move added to our tool set is always welcome in my book.
Absolutely.
So I wonder how that's gonna work. Are you going to have to stun the enemy and then everything kind of freezes and then it does it? Or is it just some sort of attack, or is it going to prompt you to do it? You know what I mean? I wonder how they're going to go through that.
Like if an enemy gets low, your melee automatically becomes a finisher, or is it a separate button?
Yeah, or there's something that you can press, like, you hold a specific button, because it looked like when they were showing it off, the enemies were kind of frozen in place and you were doing this to the enemy that was dead.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe in multiplayer, when you're doing a finisher, you guys become immune, but the arena is still going on, so that way they don't have to freeze time or anything like that. And I could definitely see it being something like maybe hold melee when they're just about dead.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so you don't necessarily lose your melee, because you don't want to. The worst thing about finishers is after the newness wears off, you don't want to be like, oh god, I'm in the middle of a finisher, I'm trying to DPS.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it looked like it was super fast. It didn't look like it was going to be like, it's definitely a pre-canned animation, but it looked like it'd be quick, not like a very long animation.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it's random too. Maybe you set it and it happens sometimes in the PvE world, and then
I hope it's not random, because I want to be able to control when.
Yeah, I don't think they would do that.
Yeah. Also, PvP, doing that in PvP would be really interesting.
Yeah.
Doing a finisher.
I think it's possible. I was thinking about the Apex effect. Like, you can do it. It's going to put you at risk, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that shows you how big the balls are, man. Right? Yeah.
They're really going all in on RPG elements in this expansion, so they're really getting to that part of the game, which I think is really going to be welcome for Destiny veterans. Like, they're not getting away from the action of Destiny. So if you just come to Destiny for shooting things in the head, like, that's still going to be there for you. But if you look for something deeper out of Destiny, I think they're really going to start expanding on that more in this expansion.
Yeah.
They also talked about some new exotics that are coming. A new exotic heavy bow that knocks people back, an exotic trace rifle that creates a big crit spot, and a hand cannon with a scope that acts like a sniper. And currently, they're not sure if it's going to make it to the game. Lights you on fire if you use it too much.
And uses special ammo.
Cannon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And uses special ammo too.
What?
That's pretty interesting.
That thing looked really cool. I was excited when I saw that.
Yeah.
Because we've been talking about for a while. You know, people ask me all the time, what sort of exotic would you like to see come to the game? And I've always said a heavy, a power exotic hand cannon that's a true sort of cannon. You know, and you launch the, you know, it almost feels like you're holding like a mini cannon. It's much bigger than a regular hand cannon, which is already pretty big. So when I saw that, it, you know, definitely was interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool.
They also talk about there's going to be a renewed focus on PvP in ShadowKeep. They didn't really go into detail about it, though.
Yeah, it was very mysterious. It was kind of the classic Bungie talk when it comes to these things. Like, it's great. I know that they're working on PvP stuff, and it's great that they confirmed it. But it was just just vague enough to where you're like, it could be nothing, or it could be everything that's changed.
They said they were rebuilding the foundation in a way, didn't they?
Yeah.
For PvP.
Well, that was later when Dado asked Luke Smith about it, and he made the analogy of, you know, they want to build a whole house that is PvP, but first they have to rebuild the foundation.
Right.
And right now it's rebuilding the foundation. So going back to ShadowKeep, when you download ShadowKeep, the new content is going to be available immediately, and you're going to start in the end game immediately. So there's not going to be apparently some kind of grind, or, you know, you don't have to grind to start getting into the ShadowKeep content. You're just going to be there. You're going to be able to start playing ShadowKeep immediately.
Yeah.
That may be how they are being able to buy a season individually, right? If you just buy a season and you can immediately start playing the new content, and you don't have to go back to old content to power grind, that may allow them to do that, right?
Yeah. I mean, how does it work right now with, like, it's kind of similar, right? Like, if you didn't get
Technically, right?
Curse of Osiris, but you got that Forsaken, right?
You get the 690s right away as soon as you complete that quest.
Yeah, and you can still go into, like, in other words, if you miss Curse of Osiris, but you got this annual pass, right?
Yeah.
Can't you do that? And it's a little like that, where you don't have access to the curse stuff, but you can just hop in and do the menagerie right now if you want.
Would you be able to go to Mercury at all if you didn't go to Curse of Osiris?
I don't think so right now. It's hard to, you know, since I've only played in that world.
Yeah,
I don't think so right now.
Yeah.
I think it's I feel like they kind of have the architecture for it already. It's going to be hopefully better and smarter, but they're almost doing it with the power surge, was what I was going to say. Like, you can get in, grab it, and go. And they've already started to solve it, and we'll hopefully see
that
it.
lesson I think was learned with Black Armory. That was the community let them know that was not acceptable.
With how it unlocked, people had to grind like a couple of weeks to play new content.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was not fun.
Yeah. It seems like they learned a lesson on that. What I'm a little worried though is that they're going to take away certain grind. Like, I don't want, you know, a month of doing old content to get to where we have to go, but I definitely like the power climb. I don't want that to go away either.
Yeah, but I want it in new content.
Yeah.
Like, I agree. I don't want to do what I did this time, where I just played old content over and over again so I could play the new content on day one.
100%.
Right? I just want, if I see ShadowKeep is coming out, I want to play ShadowKeep when it comes out. I don't want to grind daily bounties and Gambit, season of Gambit, so I can play, you know, the new stuff.
Yeah, maybe that's the question is happening right now in some way, right? Like, Glad, what do you think with the current release and the current grind, the way it's set up?
So one of the things that I said when we were grinding is, I kind of chuckled and I was like, you know, it's funny. It's yet another DLC where we're still doing stuff from how long ago? And I think that this is a huge issue with the whole leveling and progression system in the game. I don't have this God solution to it. But I really think that this is something that needs to be addressed because I think when something new comes out, we should be playing new stuff to power up, like you just said, Briar. And I think that that's really important because things just become stale and they feel old, and they want the game to feel like it's alive and moving forward. But with the way that the progression system is, it just doesn't feel like that. And I think they can make it a lot more exciting. As for if you're talking specifically about the 6 hours up to a raid, the contest.
I want to talk about that, Glad. Can we wait to talk about that?
Yeah, we can wait.
We talk about the raid.
That's fine. Yeah,
I do want to talk about that.
Juicy.
Yeah, I do
Juicy
too.
content right there.
I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to.
That was a good job.
Really,
I agree.
they talked about the new raid. The new raid is going to be in the Black Garden.
Yes, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go.
Are we finally going to get some answers on what the fuck that was all about?
Not. Probably not. I'm guessing not. It's still going to be like, okay, all right.
Glad. What do you think about a Black Garden raid?
I think it's interesting. I also think it's interesting how that map that shows the Black Garden in Crucible, it looks different,
right,
in Destiny 2 than it does in Destiny 1. So, if you've ever looked out there, it looks, is it even there? It looks like totally different. I don't remember.
Actually, is it? No, I mean, is it the Black Garden in Destiny 2 though? I thought it was the Infinite Forest.
All I know is that map in Destiny 1 had the Black Garden out there over the ledge. What's that map called?
Yeah, Pantheon.
Okay. Did you see it off of Pantheon?
Yeah, that was
pretty sure
Black
you did.
Garden was right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm always down for new raids, man. I think that'd be a cool location.
That sounds like a really cool location, honestly.
Does that mean it's potentially Vex, or is that just like you can't assume that? You think?
So I think we're due for a Vex raid for sure. I mean, when is the last full Vex raid that we've had?
Yeah. Vault,
besides VOG.
What's the Eater of Worlds?
That I don't count that because it's Cabal. It's kind of a merge.
Yeah, merge.
Yeah.
I think this one's going to be a bit of a merge too because it's probably going to be the Shadows. Because it's the theme is the darkness and the sorrows, and it's getting even more darkness. It's around the corner, and now we're going to the Black Garden, which was the heart of darkness. Remember? So it's probably those shadow figures that have gotten released through some sort of crack in space.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's like a brand new version of X, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
We've had so many Hive raids. We've had a Fallen, one Vex. Yeah, I mean, I think we're definitely due for another Vex.
Yeah, the Fallen raid even was it was the Siva, right? So it wasn't even real Fallen.
And
right?
Scourge.
It was like Siva Fallen.
And Scourge.
Scourge
is full Fallen.
Yep.
Yeah, that is right.
Yeah.
That is full Fallen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I did not want a Scorn raid though. Screw that.
Yeah. A full Vex raid would be really cool. I always love the Vex because it's like a lot of space mystery, like the interesting space mystery where it's like time and space being folded in these like crazy AI/hybrid organic minds being merged together through different time and space. Like that's fascinating stuff to me. So those raids are awesome, and I would love for them to do like a Last Wish style Vex raid, something. Yeah.
It was interesting to hear Black Garden come up again because they seemed to take it broke the story of Destiny 1 for Destiny 2, right? Some elements are clearly not coming back. Like they changed what the darkness was. They said the stranger isn't ever coming back. And the Black Garden just seemed to be one of those loose ends that got left behind, right? So to see that coming back, maybe they're turning around on like maybe some of those Destiny 1 elements will come back, like the stranger.
Yeah, I think it's possible, actually.
Maybe the stranger will just be an in-game meme. Like it's in the universe, a universe of a meme in there. Yeah.
Dado started interviewing people at the end of the...
Yes, he did.
And he did a great job. I didn't get everybody's name because I was like half listening to what they were saying and half also trying to write down their names as he was interviewing them. So I didn't do a great job of that. But some of the questions, I wrote down the question and I wrote down the answer. So they asked specifically, or Dado asked specifically, is Eris evil? And they said, no, she's not evil.
Right.
Like it's hard line in the sand. No, she's a good guy. She you know, she uses the darkness as a weapon, but she is a good guy and she's trying to save humanity. They asked, is this story connected to Marasav and the Forsaken DLC? And the answer was basically no, it's separate. Although we did see Aldrin in a cutscene, right?
On the
We
viaduct?
did, walking away from fire.
Yeah, it looked like he was burning her throne,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Hey,
And
Brian,
they did
real
say
fast-
that the vignette style storytelling will be returning, you know,
Yeah, for Eris.
in in ShadowKeep. So like
was
the
gonna say-
weekly story bits.
Just I don't want to have to do blind well.
I agree.
I was gonna say it was the design lead is Ben Womack and the producer is Catherine Walker. Design lead
Thank
and
you.
producer. Yep, I just found it.
They switched over to Del Chaffee III and Justin Truman. They talked about sandbox changes. They weren't very clear on the sandbox changes. Did anybody get like a real clear idea what they were talking about? Like they're saying, yes, seasonally we're still going to expect them, but they weren't really committing to anything more or less than that, right?
Yeah, what I got was like, we hear you, and yes, changes are coming, but maybe not what you think. You know, they're like, we like the balance that's happening, and we definitely want to change and add things, but we're not going to be like swinging a giant hammer to this.
Yeah. Dado asked about the need to separate PvP and PvE weapon balancing. They basically gave a flat out nope to that.
Yeah,
That's disappointing.
super disappointing, right?
Yeah.
Which is so weird. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm not gonna go off on a tangent because I feel very strongly about this.
Do it.
You should
Do it.
tangent up, man.
This is
No,
the
because
show.
I make a
that's
lot of
why.
people mad when I say stuff like this. A lot of things in PvE are just,
Nobody watches the show anyway. Don't worry about it.
I'm tired of things in PvE getting destroyed because people complain in PvP.
Yeah, that sucks,
Yeah.
man.
Agreed.
I said-
Especially class abilities, right?
Yeah.
Class abilities get
How can you
like,
not agree with it?
yeah.
I mean, we keep us PvEers, you know, we just deal with it. If something's wrong, you know, we deal with it. We don't complain too much, but you know, most things are nerfed or changed or something because of Crucible.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And what it does is it destroys the main part of Destiny, which is its PvE. I mean, I think we can all agree that, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, play the game for Crucible, but Destiny is primarily known for its creativity and its PvE content.
Yep.
And I just find it weird that things continuously get hurt in that component. I'm gonna get destroyed for what I'm saying. I'm telling you.
No, I agree
you're
with
not.
you,
That was
man.
very objective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of
Like I
people
play
feel that.
PvP and PvE. I don't want to see things be overpowered in PvP. Like for instance, I don't want a rocket launcher that shoots spider grenades that chase me around. Right? Those are awesome for PvE, but I don't want to see that shit in PvP because it's just like it's just stupid.
But don't we
So
all
they
want...
need to have separate weapon balancing. Like they just need to. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, they
you can make the gun feel the same and shoot the same, but it needs to have a different effect as far as like, you know, these mines only chase minions of darkness.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it just shoots in a straight line.
Yeah, I got to be honest. When they said, you know, people have like a feel to the weapons, and that's why they don't want to split. Okay, they said part of the reason was that there's an experience that you get when you shoot weapons in Destiny, and if they split that experience from PvE to PvP, then it changes and people aren't going to get that same thing that happens. And I completely disagree with what they said right there. You know for a fact when you pick up Ace of Spades and you shoot it for like 1 minute, you're like, oh, this is obviously a really good hand cannon on PC, obviously. It's a really good hand cannon. It's working. It's not because I'm taking it into patrol and then into a PvP match. No, it's because the gun just is good, the way it feels.
Yeah.
And so their argument of saying that they can't make those feel too separate, I think is just flat out, I just think it's incorrect, just straight up.
It's weird because some things are split tuned, right? Like, yeah, right? Like they clearly do some of it, but it's like overall they don't. Is that the message?
Some are like, you know, this gun is getting a buff in PvE only, like a damage buff, and it's like, well, that's like a good start. You should apply that to more things in the game. And I just want to be clear, Destiny without Crucible would not be a complete Destiny. I think Crucible is a core component to the game, and I think there does need to be more attention to it. I'm just specifically talking about things that are getting nerfed or changed or something because of one part of the game. I mean, it's Destiny Crucible and Destiny PvE are two completely different things, and that's why I think things should be adjusted completely different as well.
Yeah. So here's another example. If my one-eyed mask works differently in PvE versus PvP, I'm not going to suddenly have this like lost charm that's going to suddenly come over my Titan over my one-eye mask not being broken in the Crucible. Like it still should be good in PvE, right? That exotic, but it's ridiculous in PvP.
Yeah. I mean, the truth is, I think, and get the vibe, they're very nervous about making it too complex. They want you to have that experience. And I understand the basis of it, but the expense of crap, this seems really busted, that's the problem. And going back to what you said, Glad, I'm not hearing that you're like, oh, I don't care what happens in PvP. You're saying the same thing, which is you want them to have what they want, right? And you to have what you want. It's more equal than it is saying you don't care.
Yeah, no, totally. Like you said, a lot of subclasses in Crucible are just really overpowered and need changed. You know, Spectral Blades, for example, but they're really not that good in PvE already. So then they get this crazy nerf to them because of Crucible, and then they're even worse in PvE. So we don't really get to experience, you know, the full. I just think
the fix for this too is no mystery. All they have to add is like minions of darkness to descriptions of perks, right? It's like this does this against minions of darkness. Like you get an enhanced shield after you kill a minion of darkness when you're using spectral blades. So you're not putting yourself at risk as much when you're using spectral blades, right? But it doesn't work in PvP.
Yeah, but
like
then
it says right in the descriptor.
But then that nullifies the exotic for the PvP, which is a problem, right? Now it's like, well, it's not really that useful. Why would I even touch it, right?
See, I think that's okay though, right? Like if an exotic doesn't,
I do too.
Yeah, there's a lot of exotics that you just don't really want to use in PvE either, that are more PvP focused.
So Taft, what if I told you that they're balancing Mountaintop? And it's not going to be any good in PvE. You're fine with that?
Got to move on to someone else, man.
Really? Okay. I know you love it. I'm trying to play devil's advocate.
No, that's great. Yeah, for sure. I mean, like Whisper, it got nerfed because of its potential in PvE, right?
That's a PvE nerf straight up.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a straight up PvE nerf, which it sucks because the gun has had that full cycle and come full circle all the way back to where it was in D1 suddenly. So that's annoying, but I can understand it and move on to other things. That's fine. Like it's not just straight up killing it for me.
You can see why they did it now, having played the raid too.
I mean, it's totally justified why they made that nerf, but my issue with that type of thing is the continued behavior of bringing things back for sort of excitement, and especially you knew what Whisper was going to do to the game. They knew for sure.
Yep.
You didn't even have to test it. You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's like, why even give us that if you're just going to do the same thing that you did in Destiny 1, which also pissed a lot of people off and ruin the gun.
I'm so okay with it. Glad. I think I'm the only one in the Destiny community who's like happy that they nerfed a Whisper, because I've been using that gun for 5 fucking years. I don't want to. I don't want to go into a raid and shoot a goddamn boss with the Whisper of the Worm ever again. Like I'm sick.
But see, that's the thing that I feel like you might be missing my point a little bit. My point isn't about the nerf of the Whisper. My point is giving us, the behavior of giving us something and then taking it away.
Yeah.
And then literally
just
repeating
don't give us the gun.
Yeah.
Just make that mission. The mission was awesome, and just give us like Black Spindle or like a legendary version. So we'll still be excited and we'll be like, it's not quite the OG Black Hammer, but we'll still love it, and then we'll never have to deal with a crushing nerf to it, and it won't break the game. And
Yeah, I was just to finish the point I was on. The problem I think they run into is you spend whatever 20 40 hours getting Mountaintop theft, or you did the Whisper mission or 0 hour. You spend a lot of time getting something that is only in their minds, I think, useful for 50% of the equation. So I don't know where I fall in all this. I think it depends on the gun for me, frankly. Like I'm actually more with Whisper, I'm actually like okay with it. I was happy to go in the new raid, which we'll talk about, and like not even have to think about it. It was actually really nice. But I understand Glad where you're at, which is like, why are you debating me? Why do you get me hooked and then you're like, sorry, we're gonna solve this by just taking it away. So I see both sides.
Yeah. I was really disappointed to hear that. They're like, we just want to make sure everything feels the same across the board. And I'm like, no, it doesn't need to. Stop it. One Eye Mask is broken in the Crucible. I use it. I'm like taxing people for shooting me with their bullets. It's stupid.
Yeah, and some things feel easy. Like that one feels easy, right? Like why not just split tune it? So that's where I think we get very confused. It's like you clearly can.
Yeah.
So
Minions of the Darkness shoot you. You get these buffs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So starting today, all Destiny 2 content up till now is $40. You can go out, buy all of it up till right now for $40. That's pretty good. That's a good deal.
That is good.
That is good.
I wonder what it'll be in September. Like, will it? I mean, I guess
I would
it's
imagine
3
it'll
months
still
away.
be $40.
So.
Like, 'cause
Forsaken and Season Pass, yeah.
This confused me because they hadn't quite explained what New Light was yet. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't New Light all the?
That's what I thought. You guys,
like,
yeah.
New Light's year 1.
They really.
New Light's year 1. Year 2 is Forsaken. So that's where it gets confusing.
Well, they didn't explain that yet, though.
No,
like,
they
they
said
were talking
it
about New Light, but they hadn't explained exactly what it was.
No, they did. They explained that.
No, they didn't explain it fully until the very end. They didn't talk
All right.
specifically new about it.
I walked away understanding it.
I did by the end of it, but
I was just gonna say presumably, yeah, maybe
future...
there'll be. Oh, I was just gonna say presumably maybe ShadowKeep comes with a discounted, cheap, really cheap Forsaken version. You know, extra $10 or.
Oh yeah.
Or year 2. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Did we mention that first? ShadowKeep. Sorry, it was going to be $35. I think they said $35, right?
I don't think we mentioned
no,
it.
$30. $30.
Oh, it's 30.
Okay.
30. $30. Yep. Future content will be a la carte. So if you buy the next expansion, that'll be $30. The next expansion after that, you know, like you're going to be buying expansions a la carte from now on. I have right here. I swear to God, they said there wasn't going to be a season pass this time around.
No, they said they were readjusting what they're reiterating on the season pass and the seasons.
Okay.
People are saying 35, Briar.
35?
Yeah.
Okay. They mentioned that players were underserved in PvP in year 2, and they will work to correct that. I saw a lot of people saying that it looked like this was going to be a PvP based expansion. I didn't get that impression. It just was more that we've got all this new stuff for PvE and PvP. We're definitely we're refocusing on PvP as well, not in exclusion of PvE.
Yeah, I think they're just acknowledging that they really haven't done much with PvP, and they're like, the community has recognized that and they need to do something about it. That's what I picked up from it.
Yeah, I think they realize that it's something that they really need to address because a lot of people are getting really fed up. I mean, if you were looking at the chat, you know, it was just a bunch of spam about trials and, you know, information that they wanted on PvP, because a lot of the stuff that we've been getting recently has just been PvE, 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 PvE. And it definitely does feel unfair because there's a lot of unanswered questions for the people that play the game for the Crucible. And I think they're feeling a lot of that pressure now. And, you know, I hope they come through with the stuff that they're saying, and I hope that they make changes that people are happy with. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the trials is coming back, but
not soon, right?
Yeah, I got the real. It sounded like the season after this was the one that would be more PvP focused. Not that they're not doing stuff, but I just kind of got that vibe that they needed that much time.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because they weren't very clear about the PvP stuff. They're like, we understand.
No, not at all.
Yeah, there's a giant black hole missing of PvP content, and hardly anything's been done aside from pinnacle weapons, and they need to do some stuff. And they're like, it's exciting. And then they showed that elimination game type of thing, so as a hint that they're working on that stuff, but nothing definite.
You know, I think it was Watts who first said that it looked like Gambit was like their next trials, or their shot at doing trials again, like kind of something revolutionary, and like, really new, and it didn't catch the way Trials ever did, and now it left like a gaping hole where Trials used to be. That still resonates for me. Back to New Light. So they really explain New Light at this point. It's a new entry point tailored toward new players. The first mission at D1 will be remastered to start off new players. The goal is to remove barriers so new players can play with friends right away. They really said specifically, like within 20 minutes, you're going to be able to team up with your friends.
Yeah.
You'll have all the destinations unlocked within a couple of hours, and you're just going to hit the ground running at 750 light. And that friend who has been playing Destiny 2 for 2 years, you're just going to be able to start playing current level activities with that player, and that's awesome. Like I think this is a really smart move from Bungie.
Yeah.
Once you arrive, go ahead.
I was to say I totally agree because we the core of the game, the most fun stuff is the end game stuff, and the stuff after all, getting just sort of checking boxes, story missions, just getting to play with all your friends. Nobody really wants to do that. It almost seems like a chore when a new friend comes in. You got to help level them. So I think this will get people, like they said, right to the meat of the game. I think it's wonderful that between the free offering of the game and being able to have people get up and to play the actual content, so to speak, for Destiny is wonderful. And I think it'll definitely grow the community and bring some new people in and extend interest.
I feel like the populations for Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible are never going to be empty with the free-to-play stuff.
Good.
Because they said all the
few times.
Yeah, they said all the strikes, all the maps, and everything will be available to New Light players. So they're not splitting that population at all. So there will always be, at least I think, anyways, there's always going to be like a healthy population in those playlists. Really smart.
Yeah. If only it was crossplay.
Yeah.
So close.
Right. The campaign content is all going to be optional, so you're not going to be forced to play through what was the Red War? Is that what it's called? The first campaign?
Yeah, I think
Red War. Yeah.
Red War. You're not have to play through any of the Braytech stuff or the Warmind stuff. Like that stuff will be there, and it'll be there optionally, so you can play it if you want, but you're not going to have to get to the current content. The Year 1 raids are included. The Tangled Shore, Dreaming City, and the Moon are going to be accessible, but you'll have to purchase Forsaken package to play the raids from Year 2, the exotic side quests, and the campaign. And I'm sure you'll have to buy, obviously, the new expansion to play the new stuff for the Moon.
Yep.
But you'll be able to go visit the Moon.
Yeah.
Which is, again, really smart. Like if
That's really cool.
If somebody's already interested in the game and they get to go check out the new Moon, and they're like, oh, this is pretty cool. I guess I'm going to buy this. Like it's the perfect method to get somebody to just be like, yeah, I'm going to buy this.
Yeah. I guess actually I'd never thought of it, but they'll now see potentially someone with weapons and armor on their back and be like, oh, what is that? And you're like, well, that's from ShadowKeep, right?
Yeah. And then they suddenly whip out their emote.
It's kind of cool.
Drop in the T, and they're like, oh, where do I get that?
Tess has got a new shop on the Moon. Come on by. Come here. What are you selling?
Tess has been a hive all along.
Yeah.
She is the Red Keep.
Briar, I did want to note as we were talking about all these additions that it does say the ShadowKeep Deluxe Pack includes 4 season passes.
Okay.
So, and each offers a unique set of exclusive seasonal activities, artifacts, and rewards. And a couple things they say you get with the Deluxe Pack are exclusive Erismorn themed items, an exotic emote, a ghost shell, and an emblem. So but it looks like you'll have 4 season passes.
So 4 season passes, that would be like an annual pass.
Yeah, right? That's basically an annual pass.
Precisely, yeah. It's a good way.
Yeah.
Good way to put it.
They're like,
so that's $60.
Steered away from the annual pass terminology. Like, let's not say annual pass.
Well, like there's people like us that know we're gonna play all 4 of these seasons, right?
Yeah.
Like for me, if they're offering this as a bargain deal, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy it for $60.
Right, and so the
because
easy
I know
math
I'm
is,
gonna play the rest of them.
Yeah, so you can think about it either way. It's $25 for a season pass, probably. Because meaning it's $34.99 for ShadowKeep, or you buy the deluxe pack, so you get for an extra $25, you get all 4 of those. I don't know if you'd be able to buy season passes separate. I guess you should be able.
Yeah,
to,
they
right?
say you
Yeah,
can.
you
They say you be able to buy them separate.
Yeah, they said this is part of the new vision. They're like, if you want to drop out for a season, you can then pick it back up next season. Just buy that specific season content.
Yeah. So they'll have it.
Yeah, I mean it's a different way of doing it. Like the annual pass is still there. They're not calling it the annual pass. You just buy all 4 season passes at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Semantics, I guess.
Yeah, it's semantics.
I think it's definitely semantics. Or if you're a bit disappointed by this annual pass, like if you really didn't like Black Armory or Season of the Drifter, you might want to say, I'm going to keep that money until I see this season, and I'll spend that money if I think it's worth it.
Right. And they actually make a note that if you seemingly, because of this system, if you buy one of the season passes, but you don't have all 4, it says if players already own the current season pass, you'll receive credit towards future seasons up until season 11. So, I think you can pop on the deluxe packing, still get your credit, and you can buy it later, I guess. But,
right.
But I don't know why you would unless it's a deal. So maybe it's...
Yeah.
Did they say how much it was for an individual season?
We know that this one's 35, but this one is like the big September one. So I would assume.
Well, no, that's for
the expansion.
ShadowKeep. So I'm saying, do we know
expansion.
what
Yeah.
for each of the 4 seasons?
no,
They didn't
cost?
announce it. I'm assuming it's $10-15. Right?
Well, because if you divide $25 by 4, it'd be $6.25.
Yeah, so it's
for
gotta
a
be more
season
than
pass.
that.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's going to be
Wait, are you going to be able to
$9.99.
buy the season pass for the season without buying ShadowKeep?
I'm assuming.
No, you have to get ShadowKeep.
How would that work?
No. You have to get ShadowKeep is what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
then you buy a season pass on top of it. There's season pass content coming on top of ShadowKeep from the sound of it, right? Or am I reading this wrong?
I feel like that's super confusing way of doing it. If you buy ShadowKeep, you should get the season pass.
No, you're not, because again, you can buy a deluxe pack that includes 4 season passes for an extra.
So you get the deluxe
$25.
ShadowKeep. You get all
That's
the
right.
seasons for the year.
For $25.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's true because it's just too stupid.
To me, what you're
I'm
seeing.
If you
'cause-
buy ShadowKeep, I cannot believe that if you buy ShadowKeep for $35, you don't get the season pass for this season.
No,
For the
because
ShadowKeep season. I cannot believe that.
because that's only for that first season. You get that season and
For the first season, yes. When you buy ShadowKeep, you must get the first season for free.
You do.
Like it must be included.
No,
in
they
ShadowKeep.
said it was.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they said that was included.
Because that would be ridiculous if they were to sell you ShadowKeep but not include the season pass in that.
Oh, okay. When you're saying season pass, we're thinking the whole year. You're thinking just
No.
Just
I'm
that
not talking
season.
the annual pass. I'm talking the season.
Yeah.
pass.
No, it's included with that. Yeah, for sure, 100%.
Okay, actually, you made a good point. It's not divided by 4, I guess. It's divided by 3. There's 3 more releases coming.
Good point.
Which I think you can buy the entire season pass or annual pass along with ShadowKeep, so you'll have all future season pass content already built in. Sounds like, right?
So much for not being
Anyway,
confusing.
We have a lot to learn. I think it'll make sense.
I think half of the confusion here is us using last year's language.
Yeah, season
Yeah,
pass
maybe.
sounds like a whole year, like they did in vanilla. Or,
No. Yeah, we need to refer to that as an annual pass. The season pass is specifically going to be for the season, like season of the Drifter or season of
Yes.
Opulence.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And yeah, that's why they say you'll get 4 season passes up towards season 11.
Yeah.
Right. So you'd get, like, theoretically, if we were to apply this system to this year, Forsaken would be 1 season, Black Armory would be the 2nd season, Drifter would be the 3rd season, and Opulence would be the 4th season.
Mm-hmm.
So in that way, I think we can kind of see year 3 shaping up, right? It's like, well, we'll get.
Yeah, sorry, it just hit me in the face like a shovel that I'm like, oh, I keep thinking in my mind, I guess, that there's like another ShadowKeep coming in December now because of the way they put this. But we don't know that.
I don't think
I
so.
think
No,
it's
I would
just
not
the season
expect
pass.
that.
That's
No.
what's getting me. Okay.
No, I would not expect another ShadowKeep. I would expect another thing like Season of the Drifter, Black Armory, or Opulence.
Scourge. Yeah. Yeah. So it's the same setup as last year almost. It's just
nomenclature.
Priced differently.
Calling it annual
Yeah.
pass versus season pass. Yeah.
Well, they're not using that. I don't think they're using that annual pass.
No, they're calling it the
wording,
deluxe.
unless
They're
you
calling it
buy
the deluxe pass. They're the deluxe
Yeah.
version. That's why it's different. Anyways.
Which just comes with 4 season passes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you can buy those season passes individually when the time comes as well.
Correct. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Whew. Glad we got through that. a lot.
That's my bad. I shouldn't have brought it up.
Luke Smith then came out. Dado talked to Luke Smith directly. It was good to see Luke Smith. And he asked some good questions. And Luke Smith didn't really answer many of them. Dado asked why partner with Stadia, and Luke Smith really just said, it's really just a step to allow Destiny 2 to be played anywhere. It's cool that it's going to be included with the pro membership of Stadia. It's basically going to be a free game included with Stadia if you pay your pro membership fee. And, that's going to bring in more players. Is it going to be another, are those players going to be locked into just other Stadia players? Like, how big is that population ever going to get?
I'm assuming it is. Yeah.
So they're just going to be, if you go into PvP Stadia, what are those queue times going to be like?
Good point.
Well, maybe cross save is really the beginning, and they just aren't talking about it yet, how cross play is going to unfold in their plan down the road.
Yeah.
Then Stadia,
that'd be great.
The first step would be Stadia with PC, since it's, I'm assuming, really similar architecture. So they'd have that.
Crossplay would be great.
Right? I mean, talk about fixing all population problems.
Yeah.
Except for PC players playing with PvP players on console. They'd have to figure out something like that.
Friends that just can't make it over to PC for many different reasons.
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Be amazing.
Yeah.
It would literally be the brightest timeline, guys. The actual brightest timeline for Destiny.
Dado asked about how this is the first time that Bungie's used the word MMO, or they use the terminology MMO. And Luke Smith really wanted to emphasize that they're still preserving the action game, but they want to bring deeper character customization, deeper character sheet. Long-term goal is to improve the social game and make it easier for players to play together. So he basically just reiterated what he had said at the beginning. Dado asked, are we going somewhere with the story of Destiny 2? And I thought that was actually an interesting question. And Luke Smith was a little cagey on this, but he did say that, the story's not ending. They're not working toward an end point for the story. It's not like Game of Thrones where we finally have an ending for Game of Thrones. But it is heading somewhere.
Right.
Right. So there's no written resolution to Destiny. There's no
It seems very open-ended.
Wrap that up. It's all done.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like we're going to an actual conclusion of the darkness has been squashed. Let's go get beers.
Yes. Yeah.
I hope that's the end. Cade cocktail.
Yeah. It seems they want to make an open world that is evolving, and there's different corners that keep on expanding and doing weird stuff and cool stuff. And I think that's cool. I think that's actually how a lot of players like to play the game, is to go to their part of the game that they really like, live in it for a while, get cool loot, and then kind of go from there.
Yeah. Dado asked, is Trials coming back? He
smoking beers.
Not right now, that's
Yeah.
for sure. And he kind of made that analogy about, they recognize that they have to build a new house for PvP, but right now they're just starting on the foundation.
Yeah.
So there's going to be changes to the playlist structure and stuff like that. There's different game modes, but no answer on Trials. Don't expect it soon, I would say.
Yeah, this is another reason why I'm yes, they're working on PvP, but keep your expectations in check about this stuff, because it's the same guy who said your 10th Better Devils was going to get fixed at some point, and it took a long time to even see some of that. So they might be in a long-term setup of trying to fix PvP at the moment.
Recognizing a problem is different than solving.
Yeah, exactly. So it might be a while. Then again, they might have the answers this fall. We'll see.
Are old assets being resold on the moon? I think that's it's a question that a lot of people had when they saw the moon was coming back. And, they said that it's updated to the latest context. It looks different. And the world of the moon has changed.
Yeah. It's evolved.
I think we'll see about that.
Yep.
Then he asked, "Is Destiny 3 coming out? Like, when's Destiny 3 coming out? What's going on in Destiny 3?" And like, no answer on that. Complete avoidance of the question.
Yeah.
Once again, makes you wonder.
It really does. Yeah.
Yeah.
I took kind of like a step back of wanting to collect everything in D2 because I was like, well, it's just going to get nuked from some other invasion that comes up in D3. So my interest levels of collecting everything had waned. But now I'm like, man, I kind of wish I had collected everything because I feel like this game is going to be, or it's going to be Destiny 2 for another 4 or 5 years, possibly.
Yeah, I don't think at all on that. But
yeah,
I understand why you would think that now. I just think they need to buy a few more years.
You think it's a long-term, you think it's a play that they're doing right now? To keep the market?
I don't think it's. I just think that you see, actually, Bungie seems to be unearthed in a lot of ways, probably which happened over the last couple of years, but especially with the final breakup with Activision. So, meaning, I feel like they just now have reset. The last year they've spent, I think, trying to be the form of what they want to be, and this is the first year they'll be able to do it. But I don't know. I just look at, let's see, Destiny 2 came out in
2017.
2017, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, traditionally 4 or 5 years is about spot on.
But if they're an MMO though, this is the MMO test.
Of course.
You know, like you don't have an MMO for 4 or 5 years, and they're like,
yeah,
throw that one away. You know, it's
I
like,
don't like how do they get around that? They're like, glad, like you said, how much there's so much old stuff still in the game.
Well, you know, Destiny 2 is such a huge game. I mean, it's way bigger than Destiny 1. There's way more stuff to do, and it's on console and PC. So you got to ask yourself, how much can you really add before, you know, you can't add any more stuff?
Right.
I don't know. World of Warcraft says there's no limit.
Yeah.
So they could take the WoW approach and like vault stuff, or you know how like year 1 of D1 had things that you just couldn't or weren't effective in year 2 because of the light level cap.
Yeah.
How they did that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that some of that's good. Some of it creates problems, though, right? Where you're like, why can't I just go back and play that at my new level? And I don't know. But
well, that's what I think. Like with light level cap, if you're referring to weapons and gear being locked, you know, not being able to go above a certain power, is that what you mean?
Yeah. Like, you remember in year 1 of D1 how like suddenly your Vex Mythic class wasn't usable in year 2.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think that's honestly the best way to shift the meta in games, because if you're using, like, as much as I love Midnight Coup, I freaking hate the gun. Like, it's all that I use. It's the best kinetic weapon in the game, hands down, and I'm tired of using it. And I think that they just need to, every year or something, just everything gets left behind, and you can go back and you can still use it. They're not nerfing the guns, they're not ruining it, because right now they have a habit of sort of nerfing things to make you use new stuff,
to make room.
I disagree with that. I think you should lock it away and then force people to use new stuff for the higher power activities, but they can still use the stuff that they know and love for older activities.
Yeah.
And that'll shift the meta without completely destroying weapons.
See, I can see them doing that to D2 now. It's like with them openly embracing the MMO term, I could see this game actually expand into several years, well, beyond like the thought of, oh, it's 2021, now we have to have a D3 refresh. I could see them like really embrace that for a while until they are really have everything ironed out for what D3 wants to be.
Yeah. I wanted to ask Glad, based on this question, if you look back at Forsaken, because right now it seems to me that if you look at ShadowKeep, it comes with, right, new destination, a new dungeon like Shattered Throne or something, new missions and quests. It seems almost the model of Forsaken. We don't know if it'll be as big or not.
Yeah.
But my question is, if that continues for 2 years, 4 years, 5, do you think the model's enough? Like, if you look at the last year content, like, would that be sufficient for you? Do you think they need to do a lot more?
So this is totally my opinion. I prefer the massive content drops all at once. I prefer when a lot of stuff is sort of dumped onto us at once. And here's why. Because it doesn't force me to play the game over a period of time. I can play it how I want to play it. And a lot of people will play devil's advocate, and they'll say, well, you know, you're the reason why people exhaust content and then say that there's nothing to in the game. But no, that's not true. I never say that stuff. It's just a lot of stuff to do. I like that feeling of being overwhelmed because there's so much stuff to do, as opposed to being forced to play a little bit of content here, and then next week a little bit more, and then 2 weeks later a little bit more.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion.
100% with you, Glad. I love being immersed in a game and like just being able to like dive in for hours at a time, as opposed to the drip feed content where I log in. You know, this week I got 4 hours of new content. A week from now I got 4 hours of new content. A week from then I got 4 hours of new content. Like that, to me, it doesn't satisfy me.
Yeah.
It just it almost becomes an annoyance.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost like the drip feed is there to make they want to make the game feel more alive, and they want to prolong content, but it doesn't really do that. The game is most thriving and most active and most hyped when there's just a shit ton of stuff to do and so many things. Like Forsaken, you're just so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I mean, they give you 2 weeks for the raid. That's insane.
Yeah.
And you're still freaking 40 power under. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just like being able to pick and choose and play whatever I want to play, instead of, playing for this 2 hours a day, and then you're just like, okay, back to old stuff.
Yeah, that's precisely how I felt with Drifter. It's like if they had taken Season of the Drifter and put it together with Season of the Forge, I felt like it would have relieved some of that like fatigue that I felt from it, because I was just like, I don't really want to go and do that specific activity, and that's what is available for that season. And I'm like, I felt like it tarnished the experience for me, as opposed to, like you're saying, like you get in, you get a bunch of stuff you want to do. That's exciting, even if it's not like a Forsaken size drop every single time, but like they can do smaller, bigger drops, and it will still feel exciting, right?
But things that I'm okay with are things like Whisper Catalyst and Outbreak Catalyst. That's fine. Like if you want to make us wait 3 weeks, and every week there's something different, like a new burn or a new puzzle, or that stuff's fine, because those are like secret little hidden quests. But if your entire DLC and your whole core of your content is based around that, I just disagree with that personally.
But just to clarify the question, right? If you look at the release of Destiny 2 Vanilla, now let's assume that it had all the balance it does and it didn't have its problems. There was a lot of content, new destinations, like there's quite a bit, all packaged in one, like you're saying. Then you look at Forsaken and that package. So in other words, if it all releases at once, is that all you're asking? Or in other words, do you think Forsaken is enough content if you get it all at once? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure, like what, how you want me to answer, other than the fact that once again, I just agree with these massive, much larger content drops, because I think they actually will have a longer playtime for players. It'll hold people off for 3 to 6 months or something like that, as opposed to drip feeding it. I think it'll actually turn people off quicker.
I think what Fran's saying is, do you think, like, if you just had Forsaken and not had any more stuff after that, so like every year, like a big drop,
all in one.
like, are you okay?
Oh, just one drop a year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
In other words, is the annual pass plus Forsaken enough content for you if they gave it to you all at once?
Oh, if they
because
gave
that's
it to
the path we're on. Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. Like, we're on the same path from what I can tell. So do you, in other words, do we think that that's enough content, or are you asking for twice as much content in the next year?
No. I think what he's asking, he liked the, excuse me if I'm wrong, Glad. I think what he's saying is that he likes the expansion packs, the 3 a year. Right?
Oh,
yeah, that would be more up my
I prefer that as well. Like, I like that better, because when
like a big one that holds you off for 5 months, another one that holds you off for 3, and another one that holds you off for 3, or something like that.
And Forsaken did that for you guys? Because now I'm lost. Are you saying Forsaken?
For some, like, I prefer the year 1 model, where we got Destiny 2, then we got Curse of Osiris, and then we got the what was it, Braytech? I can't remember the name of that one for some reason. Warmind. I like that model better, because when that expansion hits, I am completely immersed in Destiny 2 for, weeks. I'm first thing is I'm getting ready for the raid, then I'm going and I'm kind of like leveling up my character and exploring the missions. And honestly, when I first play through the story of those things, I buzz right through it because I'm usually like grinding for a raid. So I'll go through on a second character and really kind of explore the missions. Then I'm looking for all the secrets, and then I'm doing the PvP because you usually get new PvP maps. For me, that's much more, it's intoxicating for a while, as opposed to the drip feed that we get from the annual pass, which is a couple hours a week here, a couple hours a week there. And, to be honest, the longest I've gone without playing Destiny was during Season of Drifter. It was like a full 3 months where I did not touch Destiny. I did not turn the game on because I just wasn't interested in the content they were providing in this drip feed basis. It just was not appealing to me.
Yeah.
I'm all about the best way to satisfy super hardcore people that play a lot, but also satisfy people that don't have the luxury of doing that. And that's why I think bigger drops, 2 to 3 a year, bigger ones, it satisfies the person who wants to play as much as they want to play and never be able to complete everything. But it also, there's plenty to do for a much longer period of time. It might take someone else a longer period of time to complete all that, but they'll still be able to get it done.
Yeah. That's what I thought was so interesting, is that we don't know what's coming after ShadowKeep in it. And what I'm hearing is a lot of people like the DLC model almost with a big release. But what we get with that we're not getting, and maybe they can fix it, is the strikes, some more missions. Like just Shattered Throne is amazing. The Ascendant Challenge stuff, but that was only with Forsaken, and then we just didn't get any more of that. So if they do the same thing again this year, that's what I was leading towards. I can't go another year or two. I'll last another year or two, but we need a lot more than that. But that's why I think we need Destiny 3 regardless in a few years, personally.
Well,
I would prefer Destiny 3, for sure. I just don't want them to rush it. Take their time.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I think the seasons can actually feel a lot better if they legit leaned into world drop refreshes. Vendors get a refresh. There's new perks in the pools for things to roll with. Like, even if it's a reskin of gun models or whatever, as long as there's different stats and new names for things to chase, it at least makes it more interesting when you see that engram drop on the ground. You're not like, again, another Tangled Shore crap that I could care less about, automatic dismantle. You get it to a certain point where all legendaries are automatic dismantles for you. And that's their problem right now, is that, or at least for me, is that a lot of that time, that grind just results in the exact same stuff that you're seeing. So if they could fix that with world drops, and then also introduce new strikes and PvP maps with each season, because that's part of your rotational content that you play all the time, I think the seasons would actually get a lot more, or a better reception than what they've been getting recently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just really want like a strike and maybe one mission or something new, but especially a strike, man. That would be 4 of those a year. God, just imagine.
Just when you see a Go figure again, you're like, okay.
Yeah. By the way, did we mention that it's called Season of the Undying, apparently?
Oh, didn't know that.
So that's what it's called. I saw that on the pre-order page. It says you get the season pass for Season of the Undying. There is an asterisk next to it, but that seems to be sticking. And then if you pre-order, you also get Two-Tailed Fox. So just FYI.
Nice.
Interesting.
Did you say weird, Briar?
Yeah.
That's what Two-Tailed Fox has come to.
A pre-order bonus. What if I already have it? I just get nothing?
I guess.
That's strange.
Goodness, so bad.
Guys, we are 2 hours into this podcast. We haven't talked about the raid and the contest rules and all that.
Transition over to the raid. I did want to mention, though, in the transition between ShadowKeep and the raid, is we had the weird lead up to the raid this time, right? Is the raid has always been done on a Friday. We've always had a few days to get raid ready between like the release of a DLC and the raid actually coming out. What I think is interesting is that between the Tuesday and the Friday that the raid would have been on, if they kept to that schedule, we got the Google Stadia announcement where they basically announced ShadowKeep before Bungie did. Do you guys think that was why the raid was on Tuesday? Was because they knew ShadowKeep was coming out, or ShadowKeep was getting the press on
interesting.
Thursday?
Didn't think about that.
So the raid race, I think, is an important press day for Destiny, right? It's the top of the Twitch directory. You know, it's very big on YouTube, very big on social media. It's a big event for Destiny, and it might have gotten covered up a little bit by the ShadowKeep stuff. Do you think that's why they pushed the raid up to the release day of the expansion, or not the expansion, the season pass?
I'll let you guys go first. I have definitely a response.
That lines up. I think it's weird that they dropped it like 6 hours after the content drop. Honestly, and I was kind of like, why would they do that? And when you say that, that makes sense. They don't want those two stories being packed into each other.
What about you, Glenn? What do you think? Don't care.
It's just I don't know. Conspiracies could be not.
Tinfoil.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I have thoughts on how their process should work, but
I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So my quick answer was, I think it's a little convenient that it lines up that they would get in the way of each other. But I think, frankly, they just said, look, we want to try something new. And the end of all the seasons, they were like, let's just try this, because now they've got the data, they've got the feedback going forward to think about. I think they were willing to take a risk. I think it was a lot less about a Stadia announcement and the future of Destiny 2, because they could have waited on some of that stuff. Although the Stadia stuff's a lot of pressure.
Honestly, it lines up, man. Every time there's news about Destiny. No, seriously, every time there's news about Destiny, it gets lots of press. And every time there's a raid, lots of press. So to have those smashed together, Briar's right. It makes sense to be like, well, the tough decision is we got to make it on Tuesday to get that out of the way before people know what's coming next.
Maybe. And I guess I'm a bit of a hypocrite because I felt like the raid was rushed with Last Wish. And I felt like they did it for the marketing push of they have to get it out before it's too long. And in other words, I was in the camp of like, please just give me like 3 weeks to a month. I don't want this to be about playing 10 hours a day. So yeah, maybe it was a marketing thing.